This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Radar, and I'm thrilled to be speaking with Joanne Froggatt and Samuel Adewunmi about their show Angela Black. How are you both doing today?
Very well,
Good,
thank
thank
you.
you.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much for speaking to me. What attracted you to this project and your characters?
For me, I've worked with Jack and Harry, our writers, on a previous show, and I had a wonderful experience working with them. So when they sent me the script for Angela Black, I was super excited to read it. They sent me the first 3 episodes and I couldn't put it down. I literally sat in one sitting and read all 3 episodes back to back. So that's a really good sign when you start reading the script. So you hope the audience will feel the same when they watch it. Also for me, Angela is a character that starts off and she's very much lost her voice. She's lost herself. She's lost who she is as a person. She's outwardly got this beautiful, amazing life that most of us would aspire to. But in reality, it's a very different thing behind closed doors. And she's in a very difficult, abusive relationship. So it's a real roller coaster of a journey for her. She goes from sort of a woman that's sort of lost herself to being broken down further, to then building herself back up and rebuilding her confidence in her instincts and her intelligence and her sense of self. So for an actor, it's just an incredible role to play and incredibly fascinating character.
Yeah, and for me, there were a few factors. The first one being that I'd worked with the director before, Craig Viveros, and we had a great relationship. And yeah, I'm not ashamed to say, if he said jump, I'll definitely ask how high, how far, how do you want me to jump, one leg or two or whatever, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I really enjoyed working with him on our last project, and so I had a lot of trust in him when he came to me with this one. And then I read the scripts as well, and I just thought the story just gripped me. I kind of like dark stories in that sense. I like stories that explore the darker sides of humanity, the sides that we maybe try to ignore or don't like to shine too much light on. And I felt like the writers, Harry and Jack, had found a way to make me really uncomfortable while reading it, whilst also just being what appeared to be very truthful and really honest. And yeah, like I said, I just really enjoy shows like that, shows that move me, shows that make me look at the parts of life that maybe we don't want to look at. And so, yeah, there was that. I thought was incredible. I thought the character of Angela was really interesting, and seeing how she was dealing with her situation, especially obviously with the subject of domestic violence. We know it's something that happens, but we never really understand the reasons why it happens or the reasons why people end up staying in those sorts of situations. And so exploring that was really educational for me. And also the character of Ed, I just thought was really mysterious and really cool and really edgy. And I think it allowed a lot of space for interpretation for me as an actor. And that's always fun to get your teeth stuck into. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was just a very mysterious character, clouded in mystery. I'm trying to find another word, but that was it. And so yeah, for me that was just really enticing.
That's great. And you mentioned that it's dark, and I do think that the show has a very complicated sense of morality, where you have these good people who realize that because bad people don't follow the rules and they get what they want, sometimes you have to do that also. How did you feel about approaching that, and how did that you work that into the portrayal of your characters?
That's a great question. That's another reason why it was such an interesting project to do, because I was saying it's a very sort of Hitchcockian style thriller, and everything that's said and done is done or said for a reason, even if it seems very insignificant. So when you've seen all 6 episodes and then you think back or look back, you can kind of go, oh, okay, so that's why that person did that, or that's why that happened or didn't happen. So there's so many twists and turns in it, and also, like you say, each character has such a journey to go on, whether it's a fall from being the sort of top dog, as it were, or whether it's in Angela's case, a sort of build upwards, or and there is a real gray area of morality for all the characters, actually, at some point during the show, apart from the children.
And what do you think, Samuel?
I
don't want you to say too much. I know, because
Yeah. Could you repeat your question? So, it was about morality, yeah?
Yeah,
And
how did
just
you
how,
approach
like,
this complicated sense of morality?
yeah, you know what? On the page, when and you know in the show when we meet Ed, he just as complicated as he seems, and as much as we do distrust him, his motives seem to be in the right place. You know, we meet Angela, and she volunteers at a dog home, and she's really good with her kids, and in spite of the horrible situation that she's going through at home, she still tries to be good to her husband, and still tries to love him as best as she can. And I think all those things kind of they kind of they create sympathy within us and empathy within us, and at least it did for me when I was first reading it. And I kind of see that that's what it was for Ed. He kind of is very upfront about how he helps people with things, and he's done a lot of sort of bad things in his past, but with her, he just sees her going through a situation that she has no right to be going through, and doesn't deserve in any kind of way. And so I think that kind of is what motivates him, at least on the surface, to get involved in her life. But of course, as the series continues, we learn a lot more about his ulterior motives. And yeah, I think the show does really well to kind of teeter on that edge of what's right and what's wrong. And as people that are good, sometimes we have to do bad things in order to be free of the bad people that are just happy to do bad things. So yeah, the show's really good in that way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much for speaking with me. All 6 episodes of Angela Black premiere on Spectrum on Monday, February 7th. It's very nice to meet you both.
Thank you very much, Ed.